Welcome to our introduction to semaglutide and sunshine, and welcome to my introduction to webinars. So I hope that we have a lot of friendly people watching today and has gone through the sheer pain of dealing with that. So today we're going to teach you how you can help achieve your weight loss goals. And as most of you know, I have struggled with my weight for almost two decades now. This was my ideal protein journey. I was so grateful to be introduced to Ideal Protein back in 2010, and I successfully lost 70 pounds in about 7 months. The first time I was on it was, while it was very restrictive, I had great success. The weight practically melted off me, but the trade-offs were hunger, at least initially, social isolation, cravings. My wine cravings never went away. I just white knuckled through it, eating highly processed foods, the food costs, and not really learning how to eat for weight loss maintenance. Like most of you, once I hit my goal weight, I eventually went back to my old ways. And when you go back to your old ways, you get your old results. The weight rebound really happened slowly, and then I would get back on phase one. I think we used to call Mondays phase 1 day. And I would lose some of the refound weight, but I never as successfully as the first time. So this pattern repeated for many years. I would look at my social calendar and see if there were a few good months in there where I wouldn't be tempted, like with weddings or vacations or whatever. And then I could gain some momentum and lose the weight I had regained. It wasn't until the past few years where I just couldn't do it again. I couldn't get my head there. I thought something was wrong with me. Then the pandemic hit, and like most of America, I put on the pandemic 29 pounds. Did you know that the average American put on 29 pounds in the course of 1 year? Crazy. So that launched me from my previous all-time high weight to an additional 12 pounds. So I like to run through the tape. I knew I had to do something, and I knew what worked. I knew Ideal Protein worked, but my brain really just kept stopping me. So I've been going to this functional doctor, and she had been working on getting my hormones working right again, because I was pre or in the middle of menopause. And we were really trying to elevate my health to an optimal level when she finally brought up my weight. I guess you can't achieve an optimal level of health when you are over 80 pounds, when you're 80 pounds overweight. She brought up this new FDA approved weight loss drug called semaglutide. And then I shut down right there. I'm no fan of drugs. I don't trust big pharma. I'm not sure the FDA has our best intentions. So with that said, I said, no thanks. I know how to lose weight. I just have to do it. And she said, I know you do, but if you're not actively losing weight, aren't you actively gaining weight? And I was like, oh my God, she hit the nail on the head. And since she shares my same concerns regarding drugs, she agrees that most drugs are terrible and worse for you than the condition they purport to treat. However, with semaglutide, which mimics a naturally occurring peptide in your body, she said this was not the case. The science behind the weight loss magic will be covered by Anna in just a few moments. So this is do you see the new picture on here? I'm in a red shirt. Everybody, Cheryl, do you see that?
Yep, we see that.
Okay, just making sure. I feel like I'm talking to myself. I'm used to Zoom meetings where you can see people. Okay, so this is my semaglutide journey. So I started semaglutide in September, and trust me when I tell you, I don't advise, do not follow this, what I did. But I did not change my eating habits at all. I just listened to my body. I ate when I was hungry and I stopped when I was full. It's just that I wasn't hungry very much, and I got full very quick. So in addition, my wine cravings went away. Many nights, I didn't even feel like having a single glass of wine when, let's be honest, I was probably up to a bottle of wine per night. I wasn't going to mix a low carb diet with semaglutide at first, because then I wouldn't know what was working. And I didn't, if I did the low carb and semaglutide, was it the semaglutide? Was it the low carb? I don't know. So I just did my thing, and I easily lost 30 pounds through Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year. Now I'm down a total of 40 pounds, and I haven't gone into social isolation. I haven't missed any events. I've enjoyed meals with my friends. I've gone to events with, some wine tasting, some dinners. I'm not stressed about what I'm going to eat. And it's literally this newfound sense of freedom. So that's when I realized I was really onto something, and I had to find a way to bring this to all of you who probably share my story. So with that said, I'm dealing with two different screens here. I'm struggling. So with that said, I would like to, Dana to the rescue. I would like to turn it over to my friend and my partner, advanced registered nurse practitioner, Anna Height, and she is going to share with you more of the science behind semaglutide.
Absolutely. Well, I also too wanted to take advantage. I was just really inspired by hearing your story to let everyone get to know me a little bit better and know about my journey and why I am so passionate about helping people lose weight, get healthy, lead active lifestyles, and find answers. That's a big one for me because a lot of people don't know this about me, but when I started out this life, I came into this world a very chubby child. Stayed a chubby child, and as time went by, I became a chubbier child. And all the problems that come with being a chubby child. I was bullied. I didn't fit in. I had people telling me in so many ways, as an 8-year-old, that I needed to diet and exercise and lose weight. And how do you do this when you don't even know what's causing you to gain weight? And what was causing me, in my particular case, to gain weight was I was always hungry. All my life, I've had a voice inside my head just saying, eat, 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 sugar cravings, carb cravings. It didn't even have to be sugars and carbs. It could just be anything. I was constantly hungry as a kid. I didn't have an explanation for it. And so when you don't have an explanation and you don't have an answer, you just know inside yourself that you want to eat. Well, what you do is eat. And so over time, as the weight came on, it's harder to exercise. It's not like you can be 180 pounds and suddenly be as active as a kid who's been training all their life and is, half your body weight. And so it just really kind of affected me throughout my whole childhood and into my young adulthood, because a lot of the opportunities for kids who were in shape weren't presented to me. I didn't get to wear the same cute clothes to the dances because they just didn't exist. This was in the age before Lane Bryant, when there were plus size options that were very attractive for younger kids. There was J. Jacobs, which ended at teen size 11, and then you jumped into J.C. Penney's women's sizes. And so I went through high school, unfortunately, wearing J.C. Penney women's clothing. And as superficial as that sounds, when you're a young teenage girl trying to find your self-esteem, and you're going to school in the same clothes that your mothers wear, that's kind of devastating, and you stand out, and it makes you a target in so many ways. And so I do personify just how hard that struggle is, trying to find the answers, trying to overcome just these hardships that people who do deal with, being overweight and obese deal with in the community. I understand how it feels, how intimidating it feels to have to go into a gym when you know you don't fit in with the rest of the culture there and you have to try and work out on a treadmill and you're feeling so self-conscious. And so if I can help you find your answers and find your solutions, whether it's through semaglutide or some of the other therapies we're going to be introducing through Optimal BioHealth, I'm here for you. I want you to understand I am on your side. So I want you to really remember in my story how I kept talking about how I was always hungry no matter what. And that's how I'm going to lead into talking a little bit more about semaglutide, because that's actually one of the ways that I found my answers for myself. Because like Dusty was talking about, Dr. Dubois, when she hit a certain age, all of a sudden the weight started coming back, as well as during the pandemic. Just like her, a lot of us put on a lot of weight over the pandemic. The gyms were closed. We weren't getting the nutrition that we normally were getting. We weren't getting the social support we normally were getting. So it's just, and we're bored. So it was very, very easy and tempting to sit back and just munch, 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 munch. And so I too put on quite a few pounds, and I was able to take them off using the semaglutide product and following our program that we've set up for you. So I wanted to just talk to you a little bit more about semaglutide. And so we're just going to take a second. So what is semaglutide? We're going to talk about how it works, what you can expect, what the process is for getting onboarded onto our program, and also that all-important question, how much does it cost? So I'm just going to lead over here into our PowerPoint presentation. So it's really important that you understand what semaglutide is. And so there's a really good graphic right there showing our semaglutide. That's what you'll be receiving if you go onto our program, is the semaglutide with vitamin B12. And so a couple of things I want you to notice about our vial. It is small, but it packs a punch because this is full dose semaglutide. This is the 5 milligram version. It also contains, so for every 5 milligrams, there's going to be 1 milligram of B12, which is also going to help you digest your food. This is something that's not involved with all semaglutide products. This is an addition that we have for our particular semaglutide. And so as you draw it up out of your vial, you'll notice it's this really beautiful red color. And that red means that it has the vitamin B12. Now this 2 milliliter vial is going to be the one that you're going to be drawing up your injections from, and it's going to live in your refrigerator. And I think it's kind of ironic that it lives in the fridge next to your food. I like to think they like to keep each other company. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the history of semaglutide. So as you know, I don't know if you've kind of been paying attention to the social media, but semaglutide was originally created for the diabetic population. It was a medication that people would take in addition to metformin to help lower down their A1C. And we'll get into the science behind that in just a little bit. But what was interesting was the studies, as they studied these patients on semaglutide or Ozempic or other GLP-1 therapies, they noticed that all of the participants that took these medications lost weight, some of them a significant amount of weight. And I remember being in nurse practitioner school and hearing about this and thinking, wow, I mean, they should really think about that for people that need help losing weight. I want some. And I guess I wasn't the only one that had that idea cross their mind, because just recently the FDA did approve this medication for weight loss. And then recently, semaglutide also became available for compounding in our local compounding pharmacies, so that we in turn can make this available to you, the public. So I want to talk a little bit more about some of these terms that I've used and how semaglutide works. So semaglutide, how we dose it is it's injected weekly. And what it is when I say the term GLP-1, or I use that phrase GLP-1, what that means is a synthesized peptide that your body naturally produces. It comes from the stomach and it signals the brain that we're full, we're happy, all is well in the world. We do not need to eat anymore. And what it does is it turns off that appetite control center in your brain. It signals the stomach to go ahead and just rest and digest. And it gives you this really nice sensation of, I'm okay. I don't need to eat. I don't need to crave. I don't need to crave sugar, carbs, alcohol, all these things that we crave. It just turns that section of the brain off so that you can focus on other things in your life. And this, again, this is mimicking a natural peptide that's in the body. And the result is you're eating less, you're craving less foods, you get better control over your diet, and you lose weight. Now, I want to focus your attention over here to the right and talk a little bit more about weight loss, because it's very easy to say, okay, weight loss is just numbers on a scale, and we want to see that, when we think of weight loss, we want to think of numbers going down. It's actually something different. It's weight loss is a combined element that combines all these different areas of your health. So it's your overall health, it's your physical condition, it's your actual body itself. How are your knees? How are your joints? What does your activity look like? What kind of exercise are you doing? What methods are you using to lose weight? Are they healthy methods, or are you, just skipping meals right and left and potentially affecting your metabolism? And then also really important is your diet. And so that was one of the things that when we were constructing our program for you, that we looked at all of these elements. So it's not just we want to make the weight on the scale go down by cutting back your nutrition. We want to make you mindful of all these different elements and how they all play together into the weight loss journey. So there are some other benefits that come along with semaglutide. Like we talked about, it does slow your digestion down. And what that means is you can feel fuller on smaller meals. So if you're somebody who normally doesn't feel full unless you have a full meal, well, now maybe you can have half a sandwich and now you're good. You don't have to eat that whole big full meal in order to feel, I'm going to use a word called satiated, in order to feel full and content and happy, because you've already got so much GLP-1 already in your system, you're already satiated. And so it slows that digestion down. It also, again, it was designed for the diabetic community, so it helps improve your insulin sensitivity. So your body is now much more sensitive to the insulin, which in addition helps you lose weight. Studies are also finding it's reducing inflammation, which helps make it cardioprotective. As a result, your A1C levels are going down because that inflammation is down, your insulin sensitivity is up, your digestion is much more on track, and your cravings are gone. And so all these other benefits combine together and help you with this weight loss journey. So I love this phrase, big results require big ambitions. And so this is a weight loss journey. This isn't a diet. This isn't us handing you a meal plan and sending you off into the world. We're taking this journey together. And I just really want to talk a little bit more about diets, because I'm going to refer back to this quite a bit as we do this presentation, and why a lot of diets tend to fail, and why this just eat less and exercise fails. And so a lot of times what happens when people go on diets and they say, well, let's just diet and exercise, is you start out with a particular weight, let's say 200 pounds, and you diet and you exercise. So you bring these two elements into your world that normally weren't there before. You're dieting, you're exercising, you're investing all this energy into this project of losing weight. And yeah, you generally will start to lose some weight. Well, what ends up happening? It's one of two things. Either number one, you get to your goal weight that you want it to be, or you fatigue and you get tired of being always on a diet and always working out and feeling sore, and you just give up. And so you get down to that lower weight, and you're at that lower weight. And then what ends up happening, you get off your diet, you resume your previous habits, and you regain that weight back again. And that's one cycle we're going to try really hard to help you prevent as you go onto our program. And we've put a lot of thought into this, of how we're going to prevent that cycle of lose weight and then regain it again. And so we ended up looking at this cycle. So here we call this the yo-yo cycle effect. So you gain weight, you go on a diet, your metabolism slows down, you end your diet, you go back to the normal eating, you gain the weight back, and you just yo-yo around on this cycle over and over and over. And what the science has found is most self-paced programs fail. And so that's why we're not just doing, okay, here's your vial, now go home and self-manage and self-pace yourself and come back when you're at the end, when you've lost all the weight. This is why we're going to be having monthly check-ins with you. We're going to be setting up a program for how you're going to start to lose the weight, and then how we're going to get you off of this as well. It's not just going to be us sending you off into the world. So what we're going to be doing, if you look at this chart, is you start out with the calories that you're currently eating and the weight you're currently at. And we're going to be slowly decreasing the calories that you're bringing into your body over time. We're going to be doing this by titrating up your semaglutide and talking to you about meal planning and helping you make choices and encouraging you to make choices that help you be more active. And so, for example, we've got the chiropractic clinic right there that can help you if you have joint pain or back pain, for example. We have Ty, who's a wonderful trainer who can help you out with some stretching exercises as well. We're going to be using our resources with if you have questions about your dosing, if you have questions about your nutrition, that will be able to help you. We have apps and we have scales and all kinds of different tools that we'll be sending to you to help you get down to this goal weight that is at the bottom of this V. Now, then we don't just stop there. We don't just say, okay, yay, let's take the after picture and out into the world you go. We're going to be helping you get back into your new normal. So we're going to be decreasing the semaglutide as you increase your calories, and we're still checking your weight to make sure that you're not gaining the weight back again. And so we're going to find that balance point where you're going to find out what calories are going to be your maintenance calories, what dose is going to be your maintenance dose. Ideally, it's completely off the semaglutide, but if we need to set up a maintenance dose of semaglutide at like a very low dose, we can certainly do that too. But we just want to prepare you to go out into the world with all the tools that you need at your disposal. So that, again, this is not just us handing you a vial and sending you out into the world. We want to make sure that you're fully prepared. So it is a journey. So the great thing about semaglutide is that it has relatively few side effects. So again, we talked about how GLP-1 is a peptide that's naturally made in your body. This is just a synthetic version. And so one of the things that can be a side effect is as your dose increases, you might have nausea or heartburn. And that's a sign that you have a little bit too much GLP-1 peptide in your system. And so we might be decreasing your dose down and finding that balance to where you're at the right dose to where your appetite is controlled, but you don't have nausea, you don't have heartburn, things are well controlled. And I did want to mention too for everybody, if you have questions as I go along, we have a chat box down at the bottom of your screen where you can put in your questions, and I'll be definitely able to answer your questions. I don't want to feel like I'm just running ahead and maybe there's somebody out there with a question about some of these things I'm bringing up. But so yeah, going back to the side effects, as your dose increases, we just want to help prevent any issues with nausea or heartburn. We're available to you as a resource if you're experiencing those things to help you overcome that, and then getting you to that proper dose. So that way you're not going on, taking a humongous dose right out of the gate, dealing with, having it make your life miserable with nausea, heartburn, you can't digest anything. And then what ends up happening if you have weeks and weeks of nausea and heartburn, you're not going to want to keep going. So again, our goal is to help you get to your goal. Constipation is the second greatest side effect, and that's just common sense because you're taking in lesser amounts of food, lesser amounts of water, and you've got a slower digestive tract, there's going to be more constipation. So we do recommend that you have a Metamucil, for example, or some planned out fibrous foods that you can have in your diet that you know you can tolerate well as really watching your water intake. Now, here's a really fun side effect is that your grocery bill or your meals out bill is probably going to go down because you're not eating as much. And so you're not going to feel this need to order a full entree, for example, when you go out for lunch. You might be satisfied with just that little cup of soup and a drink and out you go. You didn't have to spend $35 on a meal out. Your meal might be actually like $9.99, which is wonderful. So let's talk about a few last things to remember when it comes to semaglutide. Again, this is not a magic shot. We're not handing you a vial and sending you off into the world to just dose yourself and then everything is good. You still need to meal plan. You still need to exercise and work out, and you still will need to learn a new lifestyle so that way when you get to your ideal weight and you come off the semaglutide that you don't gain that weight back. And then the last thing to remember is you are going to need to self-inject yourself once a week with this product. And we'll totally go over all the instructions for how to self-inject. We'll go over the dosing schedule. And we've actually put a lot of research into this to find the smallest needle on the market for you to be injecting yourself with. So that way it's not going to be traumatic for you. You're not going to have big bruises or any of these concerns that you might have. It's a very, very tiny needle and just easy peasy, just boop, away you go. So it's a fairly straightforward product, and that's what makes it beautiful. All right. Well, like I said, if anyone has any questions, definitely feel free to reach out in the chat box and let us know what your thoughts are, or any questions, anything at all.
Anna, that was very informative. Where are you, Anna? I can't see you. Hi.
Hello. Had to find where my button was.
You are a wealth of knowledge. Even I learned a bunch of things that I did not know. So the box to put the questions in is called Q&A down at the bottom. So if you take your mouse and hover over the bottom, you'll see participants Q&A, chat, share screen. So it's the Q&A box. The chat box is disabled. So if you have any questions that Anna hasn't covered yet, please put that there. So I'm going to go over some of your other burning questions. I'm going to let Cheryl take over the slideshow because I can't do it very well. All right. So the why choose OBH, that's Optimal BioHealth? So the first reason is we offer a customized plan. So Anna is going to do customized dosing based on your medical history. Not everybody is the same. And so lots of people will experience different side effects because their dosing is not appropriate for them. We are going to use your body composition analysis, which this will provide Anna with the necessary information to provide nutritional counseling. For example, you will need to know what your FFM is and be able to calculate your minimum daily protein requirements. If you don't know what FFM is, then you definitely need our help. Support and community. We have a growing Optimal BioHealth community already who can support you and encourage you through your semaglutide weight loss journey. We already have clients from all over the country and maybe even out of the country, but we can help almost anybody. So we offer monthly check-ins, email support, Facebook group, and there is more to come. We have progress tools. So online coaching, client dashboard, we're in the beta testing now for that. Progress pictures, personal plan updates as your body composition changes. For example, how to break through a plateau. Product quality. So we source from a trusted local pharmacy with vetted compound ingredients. Every dose includes formula strength B12, which you know is so good for you. And the offboarding process. We have a plan to taper the product down to a micro dose, or like Anna said, no dose at all, along with the reverse dieting that she just described to help you maintain your weight loss once and for all. And referral rewards. So your friends are going to notice, just like my friends did, that you have effortlessly lost weight while eating out with them and having a social life. So when you refer them, you will earn discounts towards future purchases for each referral. So sounds good, right? You're thinking, what's next? I'm ready. So let's talk about the timeline. The first 90 days is basically getting your body acclimated to the medicine with minimal side effects. You don't generally reach your therapeutic dose until about 3 months. So weight loss can be very slow initially. Now that was not my experience, nor has that been the experience of many other people that have started ahead of you. But you will need to plan on a minimum of a 4-month commitment. So that would be 2 vials for most people. If you're ready to get going in the, well, I don't know where it will be since the chat box isn't working. Maybe it is working. Maybe you can see it, but you can't post. But we're going to post a link for you to schedule a consultation. So you can meet Anna in person, do a proper body composition, take pictures, pick up your product and supplies. Or we have telemedicine appointments available and the product can be shipped to you. If you're cleared to start the program, you can have the first injection on site with Anna's assistance, or obviously as soon as your medication arrives to you in the mail. And we'd love you to join our Facebook community page where we post a lot of the information for you.